Imagine being 19 and having it all. Success, love, and a future so bright it could blind you. That's Edmond Dantès' life, until jealousy and ambition completely wreck it. The Count of Vengeance is the ultimate tale of betrayal and revenge, brought to you by yours truly, me. And trust me, you're gonna wanna stick around for this one. Let's talk about Edmond Dantès. He's young, he's smart, and he's just returned to Marseille as the acting captain of the Pharian. Why acting captain? Well, Captain Leclerc, his mentor, passed away during the voyage, and Edmond stepped up like a pro. He brought the ship back safely, and Monsieur Morel, the ship owner, couldn't be prouder. "Edmond, my boy," Morel says, "you're destined for greatness." In the big news, Morel is about to make Edmond the official captain of the Pharian. At just 19 years old, Edmond is living the dream. But there's more. He's in love with Mercedes, this beautiful, kind-hearted girl from a Catalan fishing village. The two of them are basically soulmates. When Edmond steps off the ship, Mercedes is waiting for him, all giddy with joy and happiness. She runs to him, throws her arms around him, and says, "I knew you'd come back to me." Their love feels unshakable. I wish someone loved me like that. And with his promotion and their wedding on the horizon, Edmond's life seems absolutely perfect. But of course, not everyone is happy about Edmond's success. There's Danglars, the ship's treasurer, who is not a fan. He's older, more experienced, and deeply jealous that this kid is about to outrank him. Danglars mutters to himself, "That captaincy should have been mine." Then there's Fernand, Mercedes' cousin, who's been in love with her for as long as he can remember. He's a creep. Watching her choose Edmond over him, it's eating him alive. "She'll never love me," he whispers bitterly, not as long as Edmond is in the picture. Meanwhile, Villefort, a young but ambitious prosecutor, has his own drama. Villefort is engaged to a wealthy woman and his future looks bright until Edmond unknowingly becomes a threat. See, Captain Leclerc, before he passed away on the voyage, had given Edmond a letter to deliver. This letter, it was addressed to a Bonapartist, someone sympathetic to Napoleon's return. Now, back in 1815, supporting Napoleon was a huge crime, a big fat nah. You get what I mean. And having that letter in your possession could land you in prison for life. Edmond had no clue about its significance. He was just following Captain Leclerc's last wish and didn't realize the political bombshell he was carrying. Enter Danglars, Fernand, and Caderousse, Edmond's neighbor who gets dragged into this mess. They see an opportunity when they find out about the letter. By framing Edmond as a Bonapartist agent, they could get rid of him once and for all. Danglars writes a forged letter accusing Edmond of conspiring to restore Napoleon to power. They hand it to Villefort, who's responsible for investigating treasonous acts. Villefort reads it, and the wheels start turning. He knows Edmond is innocent, but what really freaks him out is the fact that his father is named in the letter. Villefort's dad is a Bonapartist, and if this letter goes public, it would destroy Villefort's career. Now, this is where Villefort makes his fateful decision. He destroys the letter and orders Edmond's arrest during the engagement. Justice must be served, Villefort says, coldly ignoring the fact that Edmond is completely innocent. Total scummy move. As Edmond raised his glass to toast his guests, the room went silent. A group of soldiers had entered, their faces grim. Edmond looked confused as the lead soldier stepped forward. "Edmond Dantès, you are under arrest for conspiracy against the crown," he announced. Edmond froze. There must be some mistake. Glancing at Mercedes, whose face had gone pale. "Like, what's happening?" she cried, clinging to his arm. But the soldiers didn't care. They grabbed Edmond and dragged him away. The room erupted in chaos. Guests shouting, Mercedes sobbing, and Edmond shouting, "I'm innocent!" Meanwhile, Danglars and Fernand exchanged smug glances. Their plan had worked perfectly, and Villefort, he sat at his desk telling himself it was necessary. Justice must be served. Even though he knew Edmond had done nothing wrong. Edmond is sent to the Château d'If, a fortress on an isolated island where prisoners are forgotten. At first he's hopeful, thinking it's all a mistake. No worries, they will realize it's all a mistake and let me out in no time. But days turn into weeks, and weeks into months, and reality hits him like a truck from an isekai anime. He's not leaving anytime soon. His cell is dark, damp, and silent, except for the sound of the waves outside. What have I done to deserve this? He whispers to himself. And back in Marseille, Mercedes is devastated. She visits Morel, begging him to help free Edmond, but even Morel's influence isn't enough, so she goes away distraught. "I'll wait for you, Edmond," she says, holding on to the hope that he'll return. Meanwhile, Fernand, the creepy creeper, is way too eager to comfort her, pretending to be the good guy while secretly celebrating Edmond's imprisonment. Ugh. Danglars, on his own part, moves on to bigger schemes, and Villefort continues on his quest to the top of the political ladder, and then there's Edmond's father. Now this part is hard. He refuses to believe the accusations against his son and spends his final days in poverty and grief. He passes away sad and alone, and it's like the last piece of Edmond's old life is gone. As time goes on, Edmond's still wasting away in prison. The people who betrayed him are thriving. Danglars leaves the Pharaon and becomes a banker, rising to incredible wealth and influence. Fernand enlists in the army, climbing the ranks and eventually earning the title of Count. And Villefort, he uses his ruthless ambition to secure a high-ranking position in the government. Years pass and the world moves on. Edmond Dantès becomes a name no one remembers. But here's the thing, he hasn't forgotten. All alone and very much hungry in that dark, stinky, soul-sucking cell, you'd expect Edmond to be broken, but nah, he's transforming. His heartbreak turns into anger, his anger into resolve, and one word alone burns in his mind: revenge. His enemies think they've won, but they have no idea what's coming. We're about to see some serious supervillain shit go down. Anyway, yeah, that's it for this video. In part 2, we'll see more about Edmond's transformation into the Count of Vengeance, setting the stage for one of the greatest stories of all time. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video too. And hey, part 2 will be dropping in a few days' time, so click on the bell icon to get a notification as soon as it drops. Catch you next time. Bye!